The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. Welcome. You are listening to Itchy and Bitchy, a podcast that provides answers to your many health questions. I'm Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and I want to talk about a patient of mine who I will call Jane. Her name really isn't Jane, but that's what I'm going to call her, who recently asked me about the option of peptide therapy to aid her weight loss goal. And I thought that Itchy and Bitchy listeners may also want to know the answer to that question. So Jane has made all of the lifestyle changes recommended to lose weight and can only lose a pound or two and then gains it right back. Sound familiar? Her lifestyle includes high-intensity exercise on a nearly daily basis, calorie reduction, alcohol elimination, and rarely eats fast carbs or saturated fats. She does suffer from flares of autoimmune-driven inflammation. I'm going to get back to Jane a little bit later in this podcast. When people talk about the ability or inability to lose weight, they usually refer to having a fast or slow metabolism. I would say that most people don't realize that there are two phases of metabolism, and it is very helpful to know that what they are, because the balance of these two phases can be the key to achieving and maintaining a healthy weight. Two phases, balanced, healthy weight. These two phases are catabolism and anabolism. They occur simultaneously in a person's body. However, if the phases are out of balance, a person can be in a catabolic or an anabolic state, and this influences how your body functions. Anabolism is all about growth and rebuilding. It is the metabolic process where small molecules are built up into larger, more complex molecules. It's a building up process. An example of this process is when the liver produces glucose or sugar from a non-carbohydrate source to maintain good blood sugar levels. So it creates glucose from smaller molecules in order to support your body's blood sugar level. When bodybuilders are trying to bulk up and build more muscle mass, they work to remain in an anabolic state because it is the building phase of our metabolism. Catabolism is the opposite process. This phase is when large, complex molecules are broken down into simple molecules. For example, when you are digesting your food, your body breaks down the food to smaller, less complex molecules that can be absorbed and used as energy. You know, we can't have an Itchy and Bitchy episode without bringing up hormones somehow. Well, of course, there are hormones involved in these two phases of metabolism. Anabolism involves estrogen, which is produced primarily by the ovaries, but is also produced by the liver and adrenal glands. Its anabolic functions include increasing metabolism and fat deposition. Insulin is produced by the beta cells of the pancreas and plays an essential role in carbohydrate and fat metabolism. It controls blood sugar levels and promotes the uptake of sugar from the blood into the tissue. Insulin-like growth factor hormone stimulates the growth of muscle and bone and inhibits cell death, which is something we call apoptosis. Growth hormone comes from the pituitary gland, and it stimulates the growth of cells, tissues, and bones. Testosterone, produced by the testes in males and the ovaries in females, it stimulates an increase in muscle mass and strength, as well as the growth and strengthening of bone. Catabolism involves adrenaline, which is released from the adrenal gland in response to acute stress. It increases heart rate, constricts blood vessels, and opens the bronchi, which are the tubes to the lungs. to increase air volume in the lungs, and it breaks down fat and proteins to increase blood sugar. All of these changes in body functions occur so you can get the heck out of Dodge pronto when there's a problem that happens. Cortisol is released from the adrenal gland also, and it is released in response to chronic stress. Its main role is to increase blood glucose levels by breaking down fats and proteins. Cytokines are small proteins that play an important role in controlling the growth and activity of immune system cells and blood cells. The last one is glucagon, and it is released from alpha cells in the pancreas, either when starving, literally starving, not like, oh, I'm ready for a meal, starving, or when the body needs to generate additional energy. Any disruption to your hormones may also affect these processes of your overall metabolism. So again, we always talk about how important hormones are, and they're important in this bodily process as well. After this quick break, I will talk about what happens when we remain in a catabolic or anabolic state, either short-term or long-term. Be right back. It seems like every episode I talk to you about eating a healthy diet. And it's very important to eat a healthy diet, and I just feel that many people aren't really sure what that means and how to go about it. But Green Chef can guide you because they have a meal plan for every healthy lifestyle: keto, paleo, plant-powered diets, or even if you just want to have a delicious but balanced meal. Green Chef has 35 nutritious options for you to choose from every week. I have many patients, family members, and friends who want to transition to a plant-based diet. And with Green Chef, you can take homemade plant-based meals to the next level. There are so many plant-powered options with Green Chef, and I'm having creamy mushroom and rice soup tonight, which is not only plant-based, but is also gluten-free. And if you are carb conscious, you can take advantage of their keto and paleo options, which will provide you with premium proteins that you need. Green Chef is the first USDA certified organic meal kit, so you can enjoy hand-picked organic veggies and premium proteins without having to worry about where they are sourced. And my listeners will know that it is so important to me that Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of their plastic use and 100% of their carbon footprint and emissions. I wish I could do that my own self. So you can enjoy your greens while you're being green. Go to greenchef.com/itchy130 and use code itchy130 and get $130 off plus free shipping. Go to greenchef.com/itchy130 and use code itchy130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. I have been shaving my legs for decades, and over that time, I have cut my skin countless times. And I'm not doing that anymore. And the reason I'm not doing that anymore is because I have Athena Club. The Athena Club razor is designed with built-in skin guards to help prevent razor burn while being gentle on curves like your knees and your ankles. The razor blade is surrounded by a water-activated serum with shea butter and hyaluronic acid, which is the holy grail for skincare. The best part is the razor kit is only $9 and comes with 2 blade heads, a magnetic hook for shower storage, and your choice of handle color. I have the mint green handle, which is lovely. It comes in 6 colors, actually, so you might have difficulty choosing. They have black and white razors as well, which you can't find anywhere else. Plus, you'll never have to worry about running out of refills or being stuck with dull, overused, cutting cutting your skin razors. You can choose how often replacement blades are sent to you with free shipping. That means fresh, ready-to-use razors always arrive right when you need them. Also, you have to try their Cloud Shave Foam. I hadn't used shave foam in, again, we're back to decades probably. But it is such a premium experience to nourish your skin while shaving. Show your skin you care with Athena Club Razor Kit. Sign up today and you will get 20% off your first order. Just go to athenaclub.com and use promo code ITCHY. That's ATHENACLUB.com with promo code ITCHY for 20% off. So what does happen if we remain in a catabolic or anabolic state long and short term? A catabolic state will indicate to us that our body is breaking down nutrients or using stored energy. This is either the breakdown of body fat, muscle, bone, or nutrient reserves and will generally happen when our energy intake is not meeting our energy demand. It can also occur in states of stress, lack of sleep, or through genetic reasons. Some people's bodies can naturally favor a catabolic state while others may favor an anabolic state. Someone who is wired to be in a catabolic state will generally struggle to gain weight, and I mean specifically weight in terms of muscle mass. Someone who generally remains in an anabolic state can easily gain muscle mass and bone mass. If you are in a catabolic state for a short period of time, the benefits can include fat and weight loss, usage of stored energy, reduced inflammation, and increased energy. If someone remains in a catabolic state on a long-term basis, we're talking about months and even years. Some problems that occur include fat gain, muscle and bone loss, adrenal fatigue, which we've talked about many times on this podcast, energy swings, poor energy, hunger, increased blood pressure, and the downregulation or slowing of metabolism. The longer you spend in either state, the less you will experience the benefits and the more profound the problems will become. This is why it's best not to focus on losing body fat or building muscle for months on end. That's why it's important to go through phases where you focus on reducing body fat, followed by an increase in healthy foods to build muscle mass. So what can cause someone to go into and remain in a catabolic state? Major surgery, which leads to muscle trauma and loss of collagen. A major accident, which leads to systemic inflammation and muscle breakdown. Chronic infections like Lyme disease or H. pylori. Cancer in advanced stages. Chronic liver disease that leads to the breaking down of protein. The use of antibiotics without replacing the good bacteria in our gut with probiotics. Chronic stress, which is one of the most frequently overlooked triggers of a prolonged catabolic state. Dehydration. Excessive exercise, which causes the use of the body's stored glycogen and glucose. When this happens, it can start to break down muscle and connective tissue for energy. The anabolic state is just the opposite of the catabolic state. Anabolism is the phase during which there can be an increase in muscle mass, bone density, fat mass, and stored energy and nutrients. As I mentioned earlier, people who are trying to build muscle or are bulking up are trying to keep their body in an anabolic state. The benefits of remaining in an anabolic state, either short or long term, include increased muscle mass, increase in bone density, increased metabolic rate, stress reduction, and improvement in sex hormone levels. So a lot of positives whether you're in the state long or short term. The disadvantages of remaining in an anabolic state for either a short or long period include fat gain, increased inflammation, decrease in insulin sensitivity, poor blood sugar management, and increased blood pressure. Whether or not these states are beneficial or detrimental to you are dependent on your activity level, your nutrition, and your lifestyle. If your body is anabolic from overeating, which it can be just from overeating, eating too many carbohydrates, or lack of exercise, you are more likely to experience the disadvantages versus the benefits of the anabolic state. If you are doing weight resistance exercise, managing your carbohydrates and calories in order to achieve muscle gain and improve sleep, you are more likely to experience the positives of and very few negatives of being in an anabolic state. So the positives of anabolic state really are dependent on a healthy lifestyle. Since anabolism and catabolism are parts of your metabolism, that's an interesting little way to put it, these processes affect your body weight. Again, when you're in an anabolic state, you're building and maintaining your muscle mass. When you're in a catabolic state, you're breaking down or losing overall mass, both fat and muscle. Back to my patient who can't lose weight no matter what she tries. It is possible, now that you've heard the list, that her high-intensity daily exercise, possibly insufficient levels of protein in the diet, and her intermittent inflammation has kept her in a catabolic state. It is possible to change your body weight by understanding these processes and your overall metabolism. During the next episode of Itchy and Bitchy, I will talk about diet, exercise, and supplement recommendations that can lead to this balance that we're trying to achieve. And I will make recommendations for my patient Jane to help with metabolism balance, which could help with her weight loss goal and general sense of well-being. Please visit our Facebook page, I&B Podcast, where you can leave more comments or questions. Our website is itchyandbitchy.com. Many thanks to Green Chef and Athena Club for sponsoring today's episode. As always, thanks to Forrest Wenzel, our producer and composer of our theme music. Again, he has released an album called An Awful Lot. Make sure you go to wherever you stream your favorite music to listen. It's fantastic. If you don't know where to stream music, you can find the album on Apple Music or Spotify. As always, remember that your health is in your hands.